what's so funny? We're just getting started. Why do I always get people that like to do beginning bloopers? Right?
Okay.
Okay. All right. All right. Hey, what's happening, y'all? We are tuning, you're tuning in to our very first episode. This is our inaugural episode for the show that we just came up with the name about, what was it, about 15 minutes ago, MC?
Yes, exactly. About 15 minutes ago.
Okay. All right. So you got to keep up with me because do you remember the name of the show? Because I don't. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Was it what I was about to say? Was it something close to nothing but different from the day before? No, no,
I
that's a
like
Prince
that.
lyric. So no, oh well,
Oh,
we can roll with that.
I don't know if we
Listen,
can roll with.
we can honor Prince in the title of the show. I have no problem with that.
What about some of everything and a whole lot of nothing?
I think that's excellent.
That's pretty cool. All right. Well,
Yeah.
actually, the name of the show is actually Random Ask Topics with LaDonna Raeh and MC, sucker MC. And we're gonna get started on the show. All right. So, what is this show about, Mike? I mean, you and I, we talk all the time, and we're always bringing up topics that have to do with some of everything. And sometimes we can go on a tangent. But today, what did I tell you? I was ready
We're gonna
to,
talk.
go ahead.
And we're going to talk about colleges. We're going to talk about Black universities and ideas of strategies that parents can use for, trying to turn the ships around and not have our children repeat our mistakes.
You said ships around or you didn't cuss, did
Ships
you?
turn, turn the ships around.
Okay, okay. I was hoping that you didn't cuss. You get 2 points for not cussing. Okay, that's my job. All right, all right. Well, thank you so much, guys, for the applause. And I just want to welcome everybody to the Random Ask Topic Show with LaDonna and MC. We not LaDonna Raeh and MC. Now we may change the name of the show at any point. I think I kind of like it though. What do you think?
I like it as well. Because just like you said, we talk about some of everything from business to technology to pop culture. Our conversations, they seem to flow in a bunch of different ways. So why shouldn't our show do the same thing?
Exactly. So watch this, Mike. My son is graduating from what? 8th grade. Yes. Shout out to Logan I. That's right. Logan Robinson, my son, my 13-year-old son. They had him pegged, but incorrectly, baby, because he is getting his graduation on. But with this 8th grade graduation, by the way, I'm gonna like super outfit the front yard so the entire world and nation knows that he graduated from 8th grade. I kind of did the
That's
same
right.
thing, graduated from kindergarten, and I said, you know what, son, I think we should go on a college tour. And you know what he said? He said, okay, let's go on a college tour. But unfortunately, my older boys, I didn't take them on a college tour to the black colleges. I took them to the top university, type deal. And one of my sons just made one decision, got accepted and got in and graduated. Great. Good for them. But these kids, I'm feeling a little bit different because I want them to really get in touch with what black excellence looks like, and the reason why I have to get in tune with it with them is because they truly think that black people are savages. They think that we were born at a disadvantage. They think that we are what the lyrics say we are. And I'm like, oh my God, there's something missing here because when you and I were growing up, but you're older than me, much, 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 much older than me. And I think that we were brought up with value. Oh, what? What's so funny?
When you were saying that, I'm much, much older than you, I was thinking, did she have something to smoke or drink before she came on the air today? Because that might explain the delusional thought processes that you're having. But never mind, please proceed.
Mhm. I shall. And so When we were taught these values, we were taught how beautiful blackness was. I'm black and I'm proud, and how we can go out there and be anything we want to be. And remember that poem, "Hey Black Child." Our kids don't have that. And when I buy them the books by the authors that are young and have been through some things and talk about black excellence, they're not interested in reading it. So, how to turn this around? I figured, let's go on a black college tour so that my son can make a
Mm-hmm.
decision as to where he wants to align himself. And the first college that was on my list was Pastor Morehouse. I was
Morehouse.
excited. Be a Morehouse
Yes.
man, right? Men coming out of Morehouse, they wear suits, they got their hair cut, they speak good English, they can speak, the native tongue as well, but they are just extra super duper awesome, right? And then
Sort of.
you told me you went on tour there recently. My heart is still broken. Tell us your experience, MC, at Morehouse.
So I took my boys down to Georgia for a college tour. We went to Emory, Georgia State, Morehouse, Clark Atlanta, and I feel like I'm missing someone. But those are the four universities that we visited. Great time, great experience. I also found extra things to do in Atlanta. That weekend, they were having the world's largest pillow fighting contest. So we went to Walmart and we bought some cheap pillows and got the pillowcases, and we went down to Grant Park. I want to say it was about 400 or 500 people came out, and it was a great time. It ended up being adults against the children. So, I just want to add a little flavor to the trip to help make it a little bit more memorable for the boys. But
And
we
speaking of flavor, sorry.
so we went to the different universities, and to be a Morehouse man, that statement it doesn't resonate like it did in the 90s. I am also a black college. I attended a black university, Clark Atlanta University, right next door to Morehouse. And I had no animosity for my brothers over at Morehouse. I had some great friends who went there that I went to high school and grade school with. And so, they're all part of the AUC. But so when we showed up on Morehouse's campus, though, it was a different type of vibe. Um, so we immediately began walking past a park bench, and on that park bench was I'm gonna try to say this tactfully.
Hold on, let
There
me let
was
me
you.
see if
There
I
was
can, hold on. Let me see if I can find a drum roll. It's got to be here somewhere. It's got to be here somewhere. That what it? No, sorry.
so this park bench, right? The
Mhm.
first young man that was on the bench had on 3-inch thigh-high boots, had on pink cut-off sweatpants, and they were cut low enough to be like Daisy Dukes, and had on a black tuxedo jacket with tails and no shirt. And he was sitting on the lap of someone that might look like Marilyn Manson. The black, what do we call it in the 90s? I
Goth.
forget what you call it. Goth, right?
Yeah.
Next to them was a man in a dress, and next to them, and I want to say there were about not 8 or 9, maybe like 8 or 9 of them, either sitting on the bench, sitting on each other's laps, or standing and talking. And then I saw another one go running across the quad. Another young man go running across the quad, and he had on the regular Daisy Duke shorts with Chuck Taylor, high heel Chuck Taylors. And I'm like, oh, and the crop top. And my boys are looking like, we thought this was a man's college. And I didn't quite know how to answer them, because I had not been on Morehouse's campus in years. And when I was there in the 90s, it wasn't like that.
It wasn't like that
So,
until the year of possibly 2019 when Morehouse decided to start admitting transgender males into Morehouse College. And this had no actually this had nothing to do with what sex you were born with, but the sex that you identify with is now allowed at Morehouse College. So it kind of takes away the founding fathers' purpose of the college itself. I mean, this is something that I did not expect to happen. I don't have anything. It's easy for somebody to say, "Oh, I don't have anything against transgenders, gays, all of this stuff," right? But I really don't have anything to do with who you're dealing with in the bedroom. But why does that have to spill over into a situation where I want to call your bluff? I should be allowed. I feel like a man. And when I was coming up, as I said, if you were a Morehouse man, you were a man's man. Now, because of whatever reason, back in 2020, I'm actually reading an old article, and things haven't changed. They've just gotten a little bit more. The awareness went out, and obviously the admissions went up. For whatever reason, but it says that the changed policy is a relatively new concept among the United States historically Black college and universities. So they're not alone. Okay. But most prevalent right here in this article that came out in 2019, sorry, on theguardian.com, in Atlanta, the self-described gay Black Mecca, Morehouse College, and a historically all-male Black college, said last week, for the first time, allowed transgender men and individuals who self-identify as men, regardless of the sex assigned to them at birth, to be considered for admission from 2020 onwards. Now, we are out here hearing Congress ban abortions, okay? We're not banning assault rifles. We're not banning enough stuff. But now we have a situation where we're opening the door to our children being more than pronouns. Okay. Because if I'm raising my son based on who he is. My son is
correct.
identifying as what God identified him as. Okay. God said boy, male. That's what my son is like. I'm a proud boy. I'm a proud male. All four of them. Okay. But I'm talking about the ones that I still have access to as far as making decisions. And then I tell them, okay, sweetie, I want to, what you ever thought about being a Morehouse man? And then I take them and then they see this. It takes away from the founding fathers' purpose for this particular institution because we want to be so inclusive. I don't mind being inclusive, but why do we have to be so out there with who is getting it in the bedroom? I don't get it. There, I said it. Now, by the way, I have gay friends.
You know what? That's like saying I have Black friends.
I know, that's why I said it.
My boys didn't quite know what to think. Needless to say, none of them, all of them put Morehouse last on their list. They had Georgia State first, and they had Clark Atlanta second, and Emory third. Morehouse, none of them even wanted to consider it. And here's the thing: this is one of the statements that was said. They saw gay individuals. No, they saw individuals on Clark's campus who happened to be gay. And so it was different. It was a different thing for them, what they saw over on Clark's campus as versus what they saw over on Morehouse's campus. The ones at Morehouse campus were very flamboyant, as versus you might see over on Clark campus, you might see two men walking down the street holding hands, but they were men who happened to be gay. And so that seemed to be more accepting to them. That's what they were used to, because our children come up in a society where there are more LGBTQ
Plus,
plus people, in and around their high school, in and around where they hang out at. So with that in mind, that's what they're more used to it than, let's just say, Gen Xers are, right? And they said that what they saw on Clark's campus resembled more of what they typically see in their environments. But what they saw on Morehouse's campus, yeah, they didn't really know how to accept that or how to take that. So it's an issue. And you know what? And then there was an article. I just read an article about another university where the school gave permission for a man who identified as a female to join a sorority. And so when they joined the sorority, the young ladies of the sorority are currently suing the university now. They want them out. They want them out because they had a pledging session, and this young man who identifies as a woman had an erection, became aroused at what was going on, and these women were appalled. Um, in the showers, they were appalled. And then what was it? Another article the other day about a lifeguard who is a woman who identifies as a man, and they went ahead and gave them the job, and then when they came out to work, she came out topless. And she said that's okay though, because she identifies as a man. And there were parents that were upset because their children were seeing this. Where's the boundaries? Where's
Right.
the balance? You know, and it's rough. It's really, really rough. And you know, when we have these conversations, I remember having a conversation with someone where I said, why do we originally have separate bathrooms for men and women, even on college campuses, even in high schools for sports teams? Why do women have their own and men have their own? Well, the women don't want to worry about having to be accosted by a man when they're coming out the shower, when they're going in the shower, when they're standing at their locker. They don't want to have to worry about those things, and that's one of the reasons that we separate. While at the same time, I'm sure there are a number of men who are not interested in having women in their locker rooms.
Mhm.
And so if this has been the norm for eons, what made it change where it's now acceptable, or women have to accept men in their locker rooms now? And I'm saying men, even though we understand that we're talking about men who identify as women, but biologically they are men. And so, when were you ever asked whether it was okay to have men in your locker room at LA Fitness?
I think it's a recipe for a disaster. Um, I am I have rights too. Okay. Yes, there are gay rights, but there are straight rights. And someone sent me a inbox message. They slid in my DM. I get to say that. And it was a concerned parent that had a daughter who had a friend at school that was a boy. Okay. Um, this young man had, facial hair, features, all this stuff. And then the daughter noticed that the name didn't match the name that the boy gave her. Okay, so let's say his name was Alex, but on the roster it said Alexandria. Okay.
Right.
Now, it's like, well, who is Alexandria? Now,
And once
now.
again, once again, what age bracket are we talking about again?
12. Yeah.
Got you. Please proceed. I just
So
wanted context.
no, this is a good question because at 12, okay, there I went to school with some people that looked like some boys. Yeah. But you still knew they were girls. There was no facial hair, no jaws, you know what I'm saying? It's just the build, the muscle wasn't there. Watch this. That child's parents, they're allowing that bo- gir- child to take
Child.
hormone pills to change their sex at 12 years old. How much is too much? Because now, when we were in preschool, babies, whatever. You're teaching your children. When they say she got my toy, you're like, no, that's a boy. He has your toy. So you've been pushing this all the way into the vocabulary of your children, and we only have 5 more minutes left, into the vocabulary of your children. And now you grow up and you got to change your pronouns because you've changed your pronouns. Like, how about this? I have a 13-year-old. How about his name is Logan. How about he go to school and identify as being white? Okay, next application I fill out, I'm just filling out the top box. And what can they say? Because legally I can check any box. Okay, but me checking that box doesn't affect other students. Do you understand me? There's a difference. But if I start checking gender boxes, it affects other students because now we have gym together. We have the bathroom time together. Boys on one side, girls on the other. I heard CPS was trying to change that. Okay, student at group A, group B. What are we doing? Mike, I'm sorry. Microphone on the
Yeah.
MC.
Here's a crazy thing, right? So when my son was born, he's MJ, right? He's MJ, and there were at our church at the time, there were about 7 Michaels in the church, right? So with this in mind, everybody had their names, and I said his name was going to be MJ, right? So MJ grew up only being called MJ. So we transferred him to the school out in Bufu, Egypt, and he missed a field trip one day. Now, we told the teachers, call him MJ. He'll answer to it all the time. He won't answer to Michael because he understands that there are 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 Michaels that are around. And so he answers to MJ. They said that's problematic. They said he needs to learn to answer to his name and not to a nickname. They really, really made a point about this. The kids went on a field trip, and my son missed the field trip because when they called out the kids' names to go to the bus, they said Michael. They didn't even call last name. They said Michael. He was reading. He never heard. He missed the field trip, and then they tried to penalize him for it. And this was a fight that went on for about 3 months until they acquiesced and began to call him by the name we told them to, which is MJ. But now times have changed.
Oh yeah.
Now the school registration may say Alexandria, but now we need to say now, sort of like a business when you're filling out your paperwork to start your business or to get your EIN number, and it said, what does it say? What is the name of your business? And you put it down. And then it says, well, what's your DBA? I guess we got to have that on school admission forms now. What is the birth certificate name and what is the DBA now? Well,
we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. No.
It's Alex. Baby. It's Alex.
Hey, I know that, Jam, but I'm going to put my son in school and I'm going to say, you must call him Wolverine. Logan.
Well, ma'am, that doesn't make sense.
Doesn't matter.
Wolverine.
And he's white. Yep.
So if you're saying that if we can go the length and and say that we have to respect one another according to what we identify as, then does the government recognize if I say that I identify as a white female, which then lets me be a new minority? And then I could say, now I don't have to go through the certification process to say that my business is a minority-owned white woman business. Yes. And they have to respect that.
They haven't.
I'm already light.
Yeah.
Well, I'm already light, All I need is a wig.
Yeah, I got plenty of them. Okay, I got plenty of them. But it's 7:00, and I know that we were just giving you guys a little taste of what's to come, and we're going to talk about those topics that you wouldn't dare have publicly. And here's the thing: tune in with us. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, it's the youtube.com/LaDonna Raeh show. And if you subscribe, you'll get notifications as to when these shows will be playing. But I just want to really thank my new co-host, Mr. MC, Sucker MC, Ricky.
No,
You know, um,
not the
this was a
sucker.
test. This was a test, and I think I think you passed. What does the audience say? Okay. All right. Well, it looks like you passed. And I just want to say, come back and let's do this again, MC. We may have to continue this conversation because I'm sure I got a bunch of hate mail in my DMs, I don't care.
It's been a wonderful show. Thanks for having me. We're gonna do this again next week. And guys, come back. You got any ideas any ideas or topics that you want us to cover? Man, shoot them in our DMs. We'll
Don't be
look them up
scared.
and that's right. We can talk about a lot of different topics. Thanks for tuning in, people.
All right. And they can find you on Facebook. Aren't you on Facebook where all the other old people are?
MC Pearson Sr. It is not hard to find me. And I talk about some interesting things on my Facebook page.
Yeah. Very interesting. Like Geritol and how to color your gray hair. And
oh no, I embrace the gray. Actually, mine is white though. Mine is white.
Yeah.
I cut it all off today, so
check the box. Just check the box.
Check the box.
All right. We'll see you guys next time on Random Ask Topic.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.